WNBA. Let's go. Fast break, no fear, we play to win. Strength and power, let the game begin.
Welcome, everyone. It's Grandma Mo, and Lisa D from CT, and we're having discussions from the East Coast to the West Coast. And we're going to start off today with our play of the week. So, Lisa, what was your play of the week?
I'm telling you, that's the hardest pick for me because there's so many within the league. But it was any block that Asia Wilson had this week. I just against Seattle, just because, while Dejanay Carrington will come at you with sheer power on blocks from behind you, she just has, it's like pure strength. You know what I mean? And of course, when she lands and she's like, it's pure athletic ability. And again, I always love a block. And not only did she have 4 blocks in that particular game, she was high scorer with 19 points. And, I'm not always going to pick a blocker, but I do. I tend to go towards like, holy shit, I wish I could do that. I'd have to get out a step ladder, then I'd have to climb it. The chances of me falling are high. So I'd really love to see a block. Well, how about you? What was your play?
Okay, I have 2 clips here, and here's the first one. We'll put it up over here. This is Volt by Maureen Johannes. And here's the first one. This is a really nice pass.
17, New York.
And keep going. And then she does that kind of hook.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
God put that. That was the first one. And then let me get the,
that was
if I can stop this.
Johannes. And actually, I spoke with Coach Sandy Brandello about Johannes.
Where's my mouse?
Marine to be more.
There we go. Okay, so that's the first one. And then the second one I have.
She had a bunch of threes too. She was playing
she
real
did.
good. Yeah.
Yep, she had her crazy like one-legged one. That was one of them. Okay, and then this is in the fourth quarter. Here's the second one.
That skill set that she had worked on it, and obviously it's showing the impact.
Yeah, look at that.
Yep, like behind the head kind of.
Sandy,
yeah, I know. It's unbelievable. Oh, look at Mabry.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah, I really like Maureen Johannes. I was so thankful to see her back in the league again because she had missed. She missed last year. And, when I saw she was coming back, I was like, oh, yes. Because you get to see her just shoot
again.
That. It's just.
New York is stacked.
Yeah, they
really are.
They are.
It's hard to believe that they're not in first place right now. They're actually behind Minnesota.
It's only because it's one game. They've played
just
one
because
game.
That's right. But the Lynx can say, woohoo, we're number 1 for at least till they play again.
Yeah, it's gonna be those 2 unless Vegas makes a run. I don't see any other team beating those 2 teams unless they have some sort of major injury.
I actually do.
Yeah.
I got a new team that I like, but we'll do that with Game of the Week.
Okay.
You start with Game of the Week.
Let's go on to Player of the Week. Who is your Player of the Week?
Player of the Week for me was Julie Van Loo. I thought that she was her assists. Here we go again with passes.
Yeah, she made some great passes.
Passing. See, I haven't really paid attention to the Valkyries up to this point. I know you've been covering them, and I'm like, we'll let Grandma Mo, take the lead with that one. However, I have to say, against New York, and you and I were going back and forth with that game. Not the first game, because but the second game.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was like on the edge of my seat, and she was clutch in the end. I think they're completely underrated. And I think as the season grows, barring injury, like you said before, they're right in there. They're the only team I've seen so far that have made New York quiver a little bit, and
Minnesota. Yes, I know.
So that was my Player of the Week. Was your buddy?
Yep, I'm very high on Julie Van Loo. When they picked her in the expansion draft, her and Temi Fagbenle, I went, oh yes, because both of them have that. Because Julie Van Loo wants to push the ball down the floor, and Temi wants to run the trailer. And,
Yeah.
those two, and they still haven't connected completely yet. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
I'm
me too.
definitely-
I'm excited for you. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I
This
know.
is an
They're
exciting
fun to
week because
watch.
I'm right with you. You and I were going back and forth. I'm like, I'm so close. It was
Oh, that
exciting.
inbounds play. The
Yeah,
inbounds play at the end but it screwed them up. They got that 5-second call. And
yeah,
it
I
was
know.
a 1 point game at that. I think they were winning.
Yeah.
And they missed that in five. I just like, oh my God, that was
New
just
York,
heartbreaking.
New York has had it easy up to that point, and they're like,
Yep.
oh, uh-oh. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And
They gave them everything they could handle. Yep.
I enjoyed it,
Yeah.
because I'm looking for whoever's going to, finally take that from them. Because
Yep.
somebody's going to lose. It's going to
Yeah.
happen,
Yeah.
and everybody mocked Connecticut Sun, for what happened this week. A loss is a loss, whether you lose by a ton or you lose by a point. It's not a good feeling, but
Yeah.
especially if you're number one or number two in the league and you finally get that first loss, I'm
Yeah.
here for it. I always go for the underdog. Punch
Yeah.
him once. Let him
I
know
do
what
too.
it feels like.
I know, and the Valkyries gave Minnesota all they could handle too. Other than
Yeah,
that stretch during the third quarter, and then they came back again. They didn't
yeah,
give up at that point. Minnesota went up by I think 22, and they got it all the way down to 9 in the last part of the fourth quarter and
yeah.
ended up losing by 11. So, Minnesota's probably going, "Uh-oh, we don't want to face them again." And
Exactly. Or they
yeah,
better watch some serious film
yeah,
because like I said, I don't think I think when you get to, whatever number in O, you get a little cocky. New
yeah,
York is extremely cocky. And
yeah,
it's like, oh my God, somebody please. And I was so voting for them.
yeah.
Come on,
Yeah,
you
the
can do
Valkyries
it.
got close. They got
Yeah.
close. Okay, so my player of the week, I looked, and there was, I really liked, I've been really liking Gabby Williams on Seattle. She's playing well. Erica Wheeler on Seattle is playing well. But as
She
far
was
as,
one of she was one of Asia's blocks, Gabby Williams.
yeah, I know she was. But
But
she's
she's
been
a
playing
great
well. I mean, she's
she
kept
oh she
Seattle in their games this
I
week.
agree.
But the only one that I could, I looked at Asia Wilson, and Asia Wilson has had, a good couple of games. But the one that stands above all of them is Sabrina Ionescu. Sabrina has scored 24, 28, and 18. And the
Yeah.
18 was in the Connecticut game. She only played 18 minutes. So
Yeah.
that's a point a minute.
Yeah.
So Sabrina, she's been hitting her threes, and she's been playing really well. This past week, she played really well.
And not, she's well off the mark. She's doing Caitlin Clark. She's like, I'll match you, put a
Yeah.
put a star on the floor for me. Well, we'll see who goes out. She's out there,
Yeah,
you
and you
know.
know what I just read?
But
Before we started, there was an article on Facebook or something that they were speculating that, after this season, Sabrina is a Bay Area native. She's from Walnut Creek, which is just east of Oakland, where the practice facility is. And there is a lot of speculation going around that Sabrina's going to come to the Valkyries because the Valkyries don't have any cap issues, and New York is filled with them.
yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
they're starting to speculate about that. Seeing Ionescu come to the Valkyries, oh my God, that would
That'd be
be crazy.
fantastic. That'd be fantastic.
It would be
The
fantastic.
league never stays the same. So somebody's going to move. Somebody's
Yep.
going to come back for New York. And it's going to change everything out. I think that's what made Courtney Vandersloot say,
Yeah, I'm going to go to Chicago. Back to go
yeah,
to
I'm going to,
Chicago. Yeah.
I'm used to Chicago. Speaking of Chicago, I did want to say that they're going to retire Candace Parker's number 3
Yep.
on August 25th. And
Oh,
she
that was
also,
August. I thought it was coming up sooner, but yeah,
and
that's
well,
cool.
it is, blink and the summer's over. Of
Yeah.
course, I'll still be sweating. And she also has a new book out called The Can Do Mindset.
Yeah, I
The
saw her
rest,
interviewed. She was interviewed. Who was she interviewed by? I don't know. I was watching an interview about that. It looks
yeah,
really good. It looks really
yeah.
good.
I kind of liked it because it says the recipe to success, and she talks about
Yeah.
she's been quiet for a bit.
Yeah, she
So
has.
can you imagine like Elena Deladon? I know she's in the back offices for the Mystics, and like Diana Taurasi. They're quiet right now, but
Yeah.
they're going to branch out.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
You
they
know,
are. They are. Okay, so who was your surprise player of the week or
well,
surprise
my
team?
surprise of the week was the Connecticut Sun being crushed by the Liberty.
Yeah, that was
I'll
bad.
tell you, I don't. I've always been the underdog, so that was kind of. I was like, oh my God, 48 points, and then Mabry had an awful game.
Yeah, she did.
I enjoy her humor. I actually follow her. I think she's hilarious. And I like any athlete that's a little spicy, and she's
Yeah,
always
she's
always
spicy.
ready. And they're really good at like Courtney Williams, when Connecticut Sun lost by that much, she typed on Connecticut Sun's page, damn, just the word damn. Like,
Yeah,
damn, like you lost.
yeah,
So they actually did a FaceTime. Um,
yeah,
uh, the her, Natisha Heidemann, and Mabry's like, really? Did you have to do that? I mean,
yeah,
come on. I mean, it doesn't hurt enough that you got to, they're going to do a cooking segment with her. We'll see what happens. It's cool to see how much friendships there really are within the league.
oh
And
yeah,
it's just competitiveness on the court, but they really are friends.
yeah.
So
I
that
hate
was
some of
my,
these videos that keep talking about all this. Oh, this person hates this one and that, and it's like,
eh.
oh, just
how, how could you hate somebody when you got the
it's
best deal of your life?
like you're doing this for what? Like, why are you
Yeah.
making these videos about people hating each other? Or, some of the stuff is outrageous. And I
Oh,
just, I don't even turn it on. I'm like, I
no.
see the headline. I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
stop this crap.
stop making shit up
Yeah.
they're just playing a game. It's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Well, how about
Okay.
you?
So, yeah. So, mine was Lexi Held from
No.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
She kind of caught my eye like last week. And she was Phoenix's leading scorer in their last game. She scored
Yeah.
16 points. And she basically is a lot like Lexi Hull is on Indiana.
Right. Yeah.
She shoots a three, she's relentless on defense, and she played really well for Phoenix this last game and the game
Yeah.
before.
I watched
She's
them
been
too.
a surprise. I never even and I guess she's from DePaul. She went to school at DePaul. And yeah, she's just been one of those workman-like players on
Yeah.
Phoenix, and they're going through
Consistency.
some major upheaval. They brought in Haley Jones,
Mhm.
um, that went to Stanford. That was on it. She got cut by Atlanta.
I don't know what's going on with like AT still out with a left calf injury. First, they weren't saying really what was going on, but that's kind of
Yeah,
AT-ish. Like I don't really want to, but I'm surprised that she hasn't been back in.
yeah.
You know,
I'm hoping
you
she's
know,
out one more game.
yeah. And
The
Sabali,
Valkyries play them tomorrow. I'm
Sabali
hoping she's
got
out one more.
yeah, exactly. I mean, Sabali last night. I mean, she got clocked in the
Yeah,
stomach on one play, and I was like, oh boy, you could tell for the rest of the game it was bothering her. And I'm like,
yeah,
she can't, she needs somebody else with a little bit of to help her
yeah,
out, I think, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah, I think Sabali hurts them sometimes because she takes it, she does that 1-on-5 stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, there was a play where Lexi held drove to the basket and Sabali went right in her path. And she
Yeah.
ended up Sabali ended up taking the ball away from her because she kind of lost it because they collided and Sabali ended up getting the points, but it was like, "Oh man, you just cut her off." But I mean, it
I
worked
know.
out for Phoenix on that particular play, but she does that a lot. And if she's hitting, it's fine. It's like Enrique on Dallas. If she's hitting
Exactly.
those, it's okay. But boy,
It's
oh boy, if
exactly
they're
right.
not hitting, the team's in trouble, and you can't just rely on one player like that.
No, absolutely not. And I got to tell you, that's the other thing. There's two things I've noticed with the league. So many turnovers.
Yeah, there's a
Like
lot of turnovers.
Lynx last night, the coach has gone nuts. They were winning, in the fourth quarter, but there were like 24 turnovers. And she's
Yeah,
screaming 24, 24, and it's
yeah,
like, yeesh, but every team's been like that.
Yeah.
You know, I think there have been less whistles this past week, but more turnovers. And oh my God, with the bloody noses this week. I
Erica
mean,
Wheeler had 3 major collisions in her
oh
last game.
my
Like
God. I'm
just
like,
pummeled.
Sydney Colson's like, Tiffany Hayes
Yeah,
for
she
the
got
Valkyries. She comes out looking like Batman, with the mask and gets
got
freaking clobbered by
yeah,
Heidemann again. I'm like,
yeah,
oh my God, how do you break a broken nose? I mean, I
yeah.
don't know if she has a broken nose, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure you've been hit in the nose before. That
Oh yeah.
freaking
It's
that
you can't do
hurts,
anything. That'll
you
stop you
know?
in tracks. Yeah.
And one of the girls, I forget who it was on the Mystic, same thing. She ended up coming back in like the fourth quarter last night with, cotton up her nose. I'm like, come on. I mean, it was a lot. So
Yeah.
how do you protect that? I wanted to kind of ask you that question. Like with the physicality of the league, what would you say that the league could do better to protect, most of these guards, from getting
I don't
injured?
know
I
if
mean,
you can.
I
It's just, people are playing defense and their arms are out and
yeah,
you're moving so quick that, your arms go flying. And in almost every single one of these cases, it's just an
yeah,
incidental contact.
yeah,
Like someone's arm is going this way and someone else is going this way.
yeah.
And it's just, I don't know how you do it unless,
What's Everybody wears a face mask?
I'm
I mean,
sure
remember
that
when
won't go over
like
well.
when we played like softball, the pitchers didn't have face masks. Now
Oh no, we didn't have anything.
and
We didn't have
nowadays,
helmets.
yeah, I know. Exactly. Yeah, just shake it off. It's all good. Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know what they do, but it's like, they keep saying, infection timeout, to get the stuff off the floor. And I'm like, my God. I don't think I really haven't watched too much of the men's games, but I don't think they bleed as have as many injuries and they're a lot bigger.
Well, I think that's because they play a different type of defense.
Yeah.
You don't see guys, I just don't think they play defense as well as the women do. The
There
women
you
are
go.
in your
That's what I was
face
looking for.
right next to you. And they're going to be, not everybody, and the guys, they all sag off.
Yeah.
And that's partially due to, they can score more points. They score more points. They score more points because their quarters are longer.
Right.
But they also you don't get, except for rare occasions, you don't get guys right up in your face.
Yeah.
Maybe at the very end of the game, but throughout the game, they are not as intense on defense as
Yeah.
the women are. I mean, that's
No,
been my
because
observation for years. The
it's
women
just
play
been
better defense.
it's just been
And the guys don't
injuries.
box out, they just jump.
Yeah.
Whoever out jumps the other guy gets the rebound. And
You're so right. Yeah.
that's how it is. They
Yeah.
don't
I don't know, either they have to be able to extend the rosters in some way, because I
yeah,
mean,
they've been
last
talking
night
about that.
I think it was the Mystics that, like I said, I'm like, oh my God, they're running out of players. I
Yeah,
mean, you know what I mean? It's like, what do you do?
yeah.
Because some of these players aren't coming back right away.
No. Well, that's what I mean. You've had hardship people come on. I mean,
Yeah.
Haley Jones and Ari McDonald went to the Fever and helped them win their game. What was it, night before last?
Yeah.
And who else?
Yeah. I was laughing because Bonner got a technical. Those are
Oh,
the other things. If it's not a dunk, it's a technical. I like. Maybe that says something about me. I wish I was taller, and I know I'm a little bit. I'm always looking for. I'd be the one getting the technical. Let's face it.
oh,
Even if it was your foul, I would be the one
yeah,
getting the
yep.
technical.
So, what was your game of the week?
The game of the week was the Valkyries
Yeah,
versus
that
New
was
York.
mine too.
Yeah, because I was like on the edge, literally on the edge of my seat. I was
Yeah,
I
so was
was
I.
so impressed. The offensive boards were better. They kept it close the entire freaking game.
Yeah,
There were zero fast breaks for New York. I put in the third, which is amazing. They totally shut down Cloud, till the end. It was a nail biter, and I was there for it. I loved it.
yeah.
You
I
like
did
that?
too.
You like the same
That's
thing?
Well, one of the things the Valkyries are going to hang their head on is fast break and relentless defense.
Yeah.
They have the most steals in the WNBA, and they haven't even played the most games. Their
No.
hands are very active, and I mean, did you see the end of the game where Veronica Burton against it wasn't that game, but it was against the Lynx, and Courtney Williams was doing everything she could not to get her pocket picked.
Yeah.
Veronica Burton was all up in hers right
Yeah.
around half court, and
Yeah.
it was like, oh my God, and she was she was losing handle of the ball. And but that's the thing I've noticed about the Valkyries. The Valkyries are just going to be relentless on defense, and they're going to fast break, and it's just a matter of them hitting their shots. And the
Yeah.
ones that they've lost, the first game against New York, they just didn't hit their shots. They
No.
shot like
No.
26%.
I said to you, I almost feel like they were intimidated. The first game, it was 67-95. They like pulled away from them. And, but yeah, I was, oh my God.
That was a
That
great
second
game. That was
Yeah,
definitely the game of the week for
I'm
sure.
I'm looking for when they go, New York goes to, to
Yeah,
visit.
you got
You can't play
18,000 strong.
You can't play all your games on your home court. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens,
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
Brianna Stewart was on the foul line that game more than I've ever seen, I think, anyone.
yeah,
Like at the end of the game, she was just going in, and every single little thing they were
Was a
calling a
call.
foul.
I know. I was saying that to you. I'm like, what the hell? She just
Yep.
steps in and beep. I'm like, oh my God, this is, I
Oh,
know.
I know. I
I
know,
know.
but that won them the game.
I know.
That and that stupid inbounds play.
Yeah. I was
They
waiting
couldn't get the ball inbounds. I was like, oh
I
my
was-
God.
I
Oh my
know.
God.
Of
Like,
all
get the ball inbounds.
I know. Those are things. Yeah, but there you go. That won't happen again.
No.
That's
Yeah,
not going to happen.
I mean, they'll improve. I'm
Yeah.
I'm impressed with Natalie Nikasi as their coach. She's very calm and cool, and she's letting them uh, feel what they're doing wrong, and making it hurt and improving from there. Because I'll tell you, the more pain you feel, the more drive you have in you to improve on that and make it not ever happen again.
Right.
When I
Well,
was in college, I was a point guard. Someone picked my pocket at half court. I was so friggin' embarrassed. I was like, that is not happening
Yeah.
ever again. And it
Yeah.
never did. I made
Yeah,
sure
I get it.
no one was ever going to pick my pocket. And but it's as a point guard, you're out there and everybody's looking at you because you're the one bringing the ball up.
Yeah.
And oh my God, that was so embarrassing. I thought, oh, that's like missing a wide open layup.
And we've
Those
seen
two
a
things.
lot of those too. This past week was quite a few of those too. I'm like, oh, geez,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
not when
Yeah.
you're 6'3", 6'4". Make the layup.
I know. When you're 5'6", you got to jump really high to get even close to the net.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you're 6'4", you should be making those.
Yeah. Make the layup. Jeez. But yeah, no, all in all, it was a fun week. And now guess what? We can take a nap. We're
I
good.
can take a nap.
Yeah.
We're done.
No, it's good. We'll see you next week. Same time,
Okay.
same bat channel.